wants to win.
He won't want to lose his crown here this afternoon, Marlon, no doubt about it. World ranked number 1, 28 years of age now, Marlon. He's become more consistent and stable as he's progressed. He uses his backhand to block and come in loops as well. The forehand continues to be a big weapon for Marlon. Are there any weaknesses in his game that the Swede can look to exploit here today?
Problem with Marlon that he started off as a young player with so much power, and he played for many years sort of a game where he built only on power and speed. And I think starting from last year and now his dominance on the world level is very much about him also adding a few pieces to his game, so he can play touch game, he can play short, he plays much smarter, I would say, than he did as a sort of a young player, and that's been a difference in his game. Of course, it's made him much better. So he's such a complete player, and of course you have to find weaknesses. I'm sure the Swedish coaches also study, of course, to find a way to put the placement on the serves the best way, and then trying, of course, to be aggressive in the beginning here and show. And it's not. It has to do with the Chinese, and don't give them, a couple of games, because then they just grow by dominance. This is in their mental state of mind that they want to dominate players. So you have to sort of build your own confidence and try to dominate back, if I try to explain it like that.
We certainly need to get off to a good start. They're up against the highest ranked player in the world, just to build his confidence, start well, and he's got to stay ahead and build confidence from there. Get that first game on the board if he can here, Kjellberg, to build that confidence. What is your take on him moving from Sweden to Düsseldorf here in Germany?
It's a move that a lot of young players in Europe do have to do at some point in their career, and I think it was right. He moved around quite early, also inside Sweden for good practice, and now he's in Germany and has been there for, I think, 2 or 3 years, and plays regularly in the Bundesliga, plays Champions League matches and so on. So this is typically a professional career in table tennis for a young European.
So the scene is set, more action about to get up and underway here. Table 1 inside the Messe Arena in Düsseldorf, and the atmosphere is absolutely electric. This by far day 4, they're heavily attended day so far. Wonderful spectacle, some 8,000 spectators can squeeze into this fair trade ground. There's the Swede here, who will open up. Confident was that? Didn't look tight on that forehand, did he?
But built it also with a good serve, so obviously Malone didn't see the spin there, so this is also sort of an adjustment from his side. But let's see now how Anton can return Malone's serve.
Oh, brilliant. He took that so early again. And he's got such a good attacking style, has the Swedish player. Always looking to play close to the table. Attacks with spin and speed as well, and he needs to bring those traits here to the table against Marlon.
Starting confident with his backhand side, and there's Anton's really sort of improvement now lately with keeping his racket a little bit more up over the table and generating that sort of push spin in his backhand game. So confident start on the backhand side, which is absolutely critical for him, of course.
Oh, well played inside out this time on the forehand. That exaggerated service action just allows him to disguise that serve, doesn't it?
That's a unique technique that he sort of deploys in his service game. So a lot of people are sort of confused by that and does not get it always right. And this is a typical example. It's an interesting start. No doubt about that.
Aggressive to start he would have wanted to make here, Kjellberg of Sweden.
Maybe touch the edge. It looked like it was out, but no, I think the screen is wrong.
winner this time from the Chinese. And his devilish forehand coming into play. It's not where he wants to be, KALLBERG. A good distance from the table.
Did fairly well, but in the end, of course, you cannot win points from so far behind the table against Ma Long. And I think they're correcting the score. Is that right? Yeah. 5-2 is the correct one.
There was an action in doubles earlier on today, Ma Long with Timo Boll. He started here cold here at the table. Normally about this stage of the tournament, Michael, the top seeds get acclimatized to the conditions, the speed of the tables as well. There's a big open court here inside the Messe Arena as well, compared to other table tennis stadiums. So he's used to that now, but it's KALLBERG here as we expected, who is such a confident young man who started well. Just check the scoreboard out.
And 3-4, I mean, straight backhand winners. That's, you know, really, really good for Anton so far.
Right into the body this time. That's smart.
Make it 4 or 5. I almost lost track, but it displayed sort of a very, very aggressive backhand, quick off the bounce kind of technique here.
Oh, is he in the ascendancy or what? Well, 9 points to 2. Couldn't have wished to have made a better start in this opening game. Incredible start here by KALLBERG of Sweden. Finding himself in this situation, Michael, he just needs to refrain from looking at the scoreboard, doesn't he? I mean, he needs to pinch himself that he has a couple of points here to wrap up this first game. It's an incredible start.
You know, these 11 points games, this looks like a big score, but the stress comes just losing a couple of points, you know, because then you have to give away the service again and so on. So you really have to stay focused all the time.
When you're up against a Chinese player, you know that every single point you have to be focused, you have to be concentrated, because very seldom do they give you enough. But this is a different kind of situation here for Ma Long, because very seldom does he trail by 2 or 3 points in a game. Way behind here.
I have actually never seen him been down 9-2 or something of that nature. So let's take this for what it is. It's an excellent start by Anton, and obviously Ma Long coming, as we said, right from the doubles, maybe having a lunch and so on. So let's see what happens. But it's an interesting start, well, to say the least.
Oh, exactly. Well, what a first game we've just witnessed here for Anton KALLBERG of Sweden. 11 points to 4. That is an incredible start. We knew that he'd be confident. We knew that he's a real bundle of energy. And boy, has he showed us that in that opening game. So nothing has to change really from his point of view. I mean, surely Ma Long can't play as bad as that in the second game, or am I tempting fate?
But those winners sort of took him off the rails, so to say, in the beginning, and there's really some shocking backhands down the line, and then right into his backhand and so on. So he really was not up for the sort of pace of the game that Anton showed here. So, and Anton is a close table player. That's important to understand. So he takes the ball off the bounce, and both with forehand, backhand actually. And the trick for him is to try to control his return. So he did that very well too. So and served well. So all the plus factors so far for Sweden.
Well, he looked a very nervous-looking coach. There it is, the first game summary. 7 winners to 1 and 63% points won on the service points. But just look at the left-hand side of that column. Now, we never would have believed that it would have been as untidy as that for Ma Long, would we?
No, as I said, I've never seen him been down in my life 9-2, and I've done a few World Championships. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he responds, but I'm sure there will be a pushback.
Well, he's in a spot of bother here, Ma Long. Completely brushed aside here by this young man, a teenager, showing us the effervescence of youth when confident and have devastating results. Michael, who need to be more aggressive in this game, Marlon, and he went about going about his business in positive fashion in that first point. Out the back. What a return winner that was.
I read the serve so well also, of course. That's a risk-taking going down the line too, but a winner of 70K, and that was not as the highest I've seen so far in this tournament.
That is the highest this week, without a doubt. It's been positive, it's been aggressive, and it's been high risk, but it's paying off so far for the Swedes. Exactly what he had to do in that first game. Kjellberg, he got ahead, he stayed ahead. The speed of his rallies are so impressive.
I like how he moved out from the table. Anton there was a good touch, short, but very quickly with his racket ready, and which is a underestimated move. How quick do you get out from the table in order to get in a good position? So he did that very well.
Well, he's trading blows here with Marlon, and how often do you see that? Just refusing to yield here, Kjellberg. Being overawed by the magnitude of the situation here at World Championship level. Out there on the centre table, centre stage here, and he's rising to the challenge.
Perfect placement. You know, a very difficult serve to control, actually perfect length. So he just no longer has to lift it slowly, and then he was around the corner again. So he's obviously taking some risks stepping around the corner, but so far so good.
Well played. He really got up and over the ball there with his racket, Marlon. Just keeping his legs going, keeping his energy levels high and his shoulders nice and loose here as he looks to turn this match around.
Pounding the middle there, and he was sort of hesitated, but he did very well playing backhand from the middle too. But in the end, that one there, maybe he had a chance to go around actually. So
brilliant point again. Hit long a good distance away from the table there, pushed him back, forced him to stretch. Not once but twice.
very well done, fellow Swede.
Such a clean ball striker.
It is.
I mean, he's just 19 years of age, Michael. I mean, by the time the next Olympics comes around, of course, 2020 in Tokyo, I mean, he'd have had a lot of matches under his belt by then, Kjellberg. I mean,
he's actually also a Swedish champion for the first time this year, not to be forgotten. There's a couple of other players that are higher ranked than him, so he won the Swedish national championships this year, so absolutely a player to be accounted with. Now playing in his singles world championships.
Of course, he still is only 19 years of age, and with that, with the young players, you do get some ups and downs, of course. The round of 16 at 2017 this year at the Qatar Open, and the European Under-21 Championships as well. Marlon again, he's just nudged ahead by a couple of points now. He's had to dig deep, Marlon, in this match. He hasn't been at his best so far. He's up against an inspired opponent, but been a lot better now with 8 points so far in this game.
So much about gaining confidence in the backhand to backhand sort of challenge, and now Marlon seems to have found a little bit better distance to control that, so I'll probably have to adjust and find a deep forehand again. Interesting to see Malong's service areas, short forehand, short middle, and almost all the time very few long services so far. Looks like he's sort of in control in this game.
Yeah, he's just changed where he's directing the traffic in this game so far. All business so far in game number 2 for Marlon, 5 game points. So taking out the first attempt, the number 1 seed is up and underway here in this men's singles round 2 encounter. Brushed aside in the first game, back in business in the second. Marlon squares it off now at 1 game apiece. So the Swede now was there in the early exchanges in the first game. We're going to see him at Halmstad next year. Just give us a slight nudge here of how things are going with regard to Halmstad 2018, Michael.
It's an interesting challenge. Of course, the World Championship is a huge sporting event, the biggest sporting event in Sweden almost that year, and I think we are from a table tennis region. There's a lot of quality table tennis history in that part of West Coast Sweden. Beautiful, as you know, West Coast of Sweden, so anybody wanting to visit us and support their teams, and they are very welcome, and we will take care of them, and also we'll take care of all the participants, of course. 72 teams allowed in the World Championships for the first time, sort of a soft reduction of the number of teams, which is necessary for us to be able to put the venue in order and make it very nice.
Well, Marlon has definitely upped the ante with regard to his service points, and, well, it's been the opposite, really, for Anton KALLBERG of Sweden. Just 13% this time. Marlon striking a couple of winners more. So still all to play for, but slowly but surely, Long has just bedded himself into this match. And you wonder if he'll be a lot more freer going into game number 3, now having squared it off at 1 each.
The trick is also for Anton all the time, you know, to sort of not throw all the best serves at once. You know, he served definitely not at the highest level in the second game, and that kind of showed off. He took the foot off the pedal a little bit in his service, but now, of course, he has to be aggressive again.
Well, that's the challenge here for Anton KALLBERG here, is to maintain the levels that he showed in that opening game throughout the end of this contest. It's easy for us to sit up here and say so. That's exactly what he has to do, really.
That's an excellent shot, actually. He took Malong's forehand and gave it a little bit extra kick back. Look at that one there. Perfect, actually, to the middle as well. Second one as well. So really, you know, knowing what he's doing and playing excellent backhands so far.
Just pressure there from Long. In the end, the pressure took its toll there. Such a big arena here, Michael. There's a lot of air conditioning here as well. Well, they're really moving around the table there in that last rally as well. Big difference between the tables here than the tables in the other hall as well.
Absolutely, you're right. It's almost a different arena, and the space it's still so much bigger. Courts also out here, so you kind of need an adjustment. And this is kind of interesting to look at. Pretty evenly spread serves, and that shows you that they always work all the time to put different variations in your serve, and especially about placement.
Just a short break here. Marlon 4 points to the good. It's a test of his mental strength out there as well, and the physicalities as well, having played doubles not so long ago for Marlon. Perhaps that played a part in the opening game there for the Chinese as well.
It's a good serve. You don't see world number one miss too many serves, I can tell you that. So, but he misread the spin of that serve for sure.
Oh, he really got his teeth into the return. Came back with a huge amount of interest there from Long. After that, completely bossed that point. Got a good read on the serve this time, Michael.
He did a good read, but also the bounce was a little high, so he served too much down into the table. It's those small margins. It's just a centimeter or two, and he got the opportunity and just pound on it. See also what Malong is trying to do with his backhand game, just pull it to the middle, because Anton is, sort of seeking that middle backhand game right there, and then the other one just adjusted a few decimeters to the forehand pocket, and that's a tricky thing for him. But I think Anton needs also to be aggressive with his forehand side. Right there, he had time.
Just beginning to click up through the gears right now, Marlon, slowly but surely. There's one-way traffic in the first game. Marlon now too good a player to allow that to happen in back-to-back games. Well, that's a very smart serve there from the Swede, very smart.
You see Malong's position also is trying all the time to work out the position to sort of take that serve. So he was there standing way out on the table. So, but that's typically what a world number one will do. The adjustments, you read the serves better and so on. So normally Anthony is, of course, in for a tough task to sort of get all the return of a good service all the time. But let's see.
Great defense, first of all, there from Long to stay in that rally.
Did very well, Anton, but dropped that one too low, and then you lose sort of time and struggling a bit. But then he had that point there, but wasn't able to pull into the ball or push into the ball. So made an error. He was not happy with that one, actually.
Things just beginning to slip away here from Anton KALLBERG of Sweden. It's Marlon now, he's just beginning to flex his muscles, so to speak. Plenty of game points here for the number one seed. Or did that skim the edge of the table? I think it did. Well, indeed it didn't. It was out, and with that, it's Marlon once again, who's now won back-to-back games, and he's looking much more like a top seed, looking much more like a polished player. 11-5 in the second, 11-6 in the third. So some work to do here for Anton KALLBERG of Sweden. What does he need to change here to try and turn this match around, Michael?
I think both this game, although it's 5 and 6, of course, in the end, you miss a few and take a few. Like this risk, it's always about the risk management. So you see the last one was not really there. He was forcing it. So, and of course, if you make 2 or 3 of those mistakes in a game against Malone, you're going to struggle all of it. So you have to be picture perfect almost. And he was picture perfect in the first game, struggled a bit, didn't serve as well in the second, played sort of a decent game here now, but then the chance, of course, for him is to sort of come back and build a lead again and try to, I would say, though, try a little bit more forehand from the middle, but the ball has been there. The tactics is clear from the Chinese side. It's just forcing those back and to the middle instead, and then maybe you have to read that quicker and sort of get in with your forehand topspin.
So eyes down. Good to go once again here, Marlon here. 2 games to 1 up, serving first in the fourth. Well, once he's got his tail up, he's such a formidable force, is Marlon. Just drains the confidence out of opponents.
That's also extremely smart played, Malone. He actually started the first game to go cross with that shot hard, right on the racket, and Anton was there. And now played his slow ball to the middle. What do you do? I mean, it's not much to do on that sort of smart play from the world #1, where you really have to be aware of his power as well. So there comes a slower ball. It's also tricky, and that's where you've seen the development of Malone's game, getting much more versatile and sort of a better player overall.
Well, it's an interesting timeout call here, and I believe it's a very, very good timeout. Needed to be done as well. Brushed aside in game 2 and 3 here, and a bad start here from young Anton KALLBERG here of Sweden. Love 3 down, so need to pay attention to what his coach is saying. I wonder what he would be saying to him as well. Would it be a tactical timeout, or would it be a timeout where he just lifts his confidence here?
No, but I think they have to find something now where they kind of agree, and this is also Peter Andersson, good coach from south of Sweden, coaching Eslöv in the top league, been very successful Champions League coach for a couple of years now, where Eslöv made some noise actually on a low-budget team. So he is well aware of the situation, and I'm sure that they will. I think you have to bring in deep forehand on Malone, a little bit more in returning. It's not been there yet, so it's a risky thing to do, but sometimes you have to use that corner just to get some sort of other threat in there.
Well, KALLBERG will hope that perhaps that timeout has disrupted the rhythm here of Marlon. He's got his tail up here in the fourth. 3 points to the good.
Excellent opener right into the pocket, and again around with his forehand. So much more aggressive forehand game, I think, is what he needs, the young Swede.
Again, the pressure beginning to build here for the Swede. Seems like so long ago that it was just a whirlwind of winners, a barrage of winners in the first game.
Yeah, it's not that he's playing bad or anything. Anton is doing just take maybe a little less quality on some of the shots where he was perfect in the beginning, not so perfect anymore, and then you automatically get punished big time against a player, because if you cannot sort of put Malone under pressure, give him the ball, it was a weaker backhand return there, well thought out but not so well executed, then you can just go to the corner and pick up the ball.
Really has ticked all the boxes since dropping the first game. Marlon, his movement has been better, his timing of the ball has been better. He's now acclimatized himself to the serve of the Swede. He's just got to be positive, keep his shoulders nice and loose here, Anton Kjellberg. Play 1 point at a time, it's difficult, and try and play the table and not the player. Just forget it's the world ranked #1 on the opposite side of the table. Easier said than done. Test of his character at the moment here, test of mental strength.
And don't forget, Malone also changed a bit of his way of serving, you know, releasing the ball a little longer, you know, pulling it into the middle all the time. And that such well executed, you lure him into the middle, backhand, and go so strong cross table and deep into the corner as well.
Things are looking very rosy in the garden here at Marlon. Again, it's a very healthy buffer that he has. Been all business-like from him after dropping that first game. In any walk of life, in any sport, that's what sets apart the #1 players from the best. They just go that extra mile to want to improve. The big four in tennis, the Federers, the Nadals, the Djokovic's. Marlon here in table tennis as well. Puts in the hard hours on the practice courts as well, and of course at 28 years of age there's still plenty more to come from him as well, you have to believe. Well, he's forcing mistakes now from Kjellberg, but that wasn't happening in the first game.
Not at all, and you know, the quality of those shots that he has to face now, it's not very easy, but I think, you know, as a coach, you just try to sort of figure out something with your serve, new serve there.
So just one game point needed for Marlon now to completely boss the scoreboard after being 0-1 down. He's turned it around into his favour. The pendulum has now swung his way. It's looking very odds on and looking very ominous right now for Anton Kjellberg of Sweden. 3-1 down to the #1 player in the world. And now we're seeing exactly why he is the #1 player.
He has stepped up his sort of level, as you said, and it's going to be a tough climb for Anton, of course, but you build on the positives, and I thought he came out here, he showed that he's not afraid or anything, he showed that he's there to win, and actually was very close in the third game as well, so 5-5 and some good rallies, so absolutely maybe the numbers say something, but in the game he's been there all the time, he's made his shots, just not the best quality always.
So once again, the service points nowhere near the standards of Kjellberg from the first set. And just look at that, 75% there for Marlon. He's getting better and better. 4 winners again, just the 3 unforced errors to 7. That line 4 there makes a very interesting read, as does line 5 and the average service winner speed as well.
Combination of Malone really serving better, I think, too, and this is now he's, you know, a lot of the tactics is about your own service, where to find what spot to work on with your serves, what kind of length you put in your serve, how much do you involve a long fast service. So he clearly found out sort of a weapon there, or the correct tactics.
Yeah, exactly, I agree with that 100%. The variation of serve also for Marlon as well. He's giving the young Swede a headache or two from game number 2. Got nothing to lose now, Anton KALLBERG, just to try and play his A game if he can, be positive. Okay, if he has an unforced error, fine. It's a positive one, just go for your shot, so to speak.
And I like the way he went in there with his forehand to receive the serve. And that could be something that he has to explore. Well done. I like the way he, changed up his return. It's been very steady now with getting deep in with his backhand returning. These 2 balls, open up the game, put your forehand return there, and been successful.
Well, that's where we're at really from game number 1, where the Swedes started well, built up a nice lead, 3 points it is, still keeping that extra touch of bounce, and I like that. He's kept moving his legs, played with energy, played with speed, but just needs to capitalize on this now. 4-1.
It's actually interesting now. 3-1 up, you sort of maybe lose your concentration just a little bit, and then you find yourself in an 11-point game in trouble right away, and then suddenly 3-2, then you have only 1 game and it's an equal. So sort of a little bit of a mental game, even for a guy like Malone. Too bad. He sort of had that shot almost.
Well, a necessity to start very quickly out the block since the points system changed as well, Michael, from 21 to 11 now.
That I like. You have to smart by Anton. Created a short exchange, and then was a little patient. Next time short back. Exactly those kind of rhythm breakers, and you don't give him too many easy shots right away. Try to break down the game, make it more of sort of a short, and then the quality on first attack.
It's important also here for the Swede that he makes Marlon work as well.
Absolutely, he's making that. That was not sort of his best serve. That was right into the racket. So I'm sure he's working on changing the placement a bit. Excellent. Very, very good serve down the line with good quality. First time we've seen that in a while. So he's competing, and we have to love it. I do.
Me too. It's a good watch here because we're looking at a player who's up against the #1 player in the world, but not overawed by the occasion. Now he's just beginning to take the game to Marlon again, and that's a good sign for him. If he is to lose this match, there'll be plenty of positives for him to take into his campaign for the remainder of the season. From 5-1 now. Still looking good here for KALLBERG at 7-4.
I think he saw that coming, but it was so low, the topspin from Malone, that he couldn't really get his racket, sort of perfect technical order to execute. But he is a tough player, Anton. He stands close to the table, he topspins back on topspin. So again, you go back and you say, okay, well done. You nod to yourself and you take your best serves.
Just missed the table again. It's those small margins here for Anton KALLBERG.
Yeah, that serve is too easy, right into his forehand. He's just waiting for that one, so no chance whatsoever. And he realizes that he did not execute his serve perfectly.
He's being hunted down here by Marlon. Just 1 point now, the deficit. Lovely flow and rhythm to that rally. Beautiful stuff.
He's getting the support from the German crowd and the Swedish coach, of course. Mr. Anderson on his feet. But not too common with him. He's a kind of calm Swede. He's at least up. So what a great thing.
He's just trading blows there with Marlon to come out on top in a rally of that length as well. That certainly bodes well for him in this game. And that forehand, certainly just too good at times for Marlon. Arguably the best two-winged looper ever in table tennis. Many people would argue. It's an interesting dinner topic debate, isn't it? The Marlon forehand.
Absolutely, it should be. I would say almost one of the best strokes in the world if you break it down stroke by stroke, because you know, such a swing, and he's so quick on his feet and onto the ball, perfect, taking all the time on the highest point of contact and so on. So beautiful shot.
Oh wow.
What a great adjustment, and that's, you know, sort of a sign of quality from Anton. He knew maybe the serve would come there again, misread the first one and struggled in that point, and came back with sort of a solution. That's what you want to see.
He's creeping closer and closer towards the finishing line here. Holding his position, still in a position of strength here at 9-7. Change of pace, lovely variation in that point there from Anton Schallberg. That was a joy to watch that rally.
Can I get on my feet too? I don't know. I mean, I'm sitting here.
It's a proud moment this for Swedish table tennis, I have to say, even if he is to lose here, but he's going down with a fight. 3 game points here.
Here comes trouble now, because 2 serves for Malone. Last service again. You know, you see the small margins. We sit here and say, okay, we should have done that, but really it's just a few percentages too easy, I would say, to the backhand right in the corner. He lost a couple of those rallies, and then Malone is there dominating the rally from the very beginning, and it's the service placement that's sort of too easy to read, but that happens, of course. Here comes the backhand serve now. Probably. It's quite interesting. But there was an answer too to that backhand serve.
Was that a confident point or what? We've doubted him in the last 10 or 15 minutes or so, but that's a sign of confidence if ever I saw it. So it's game on once again here. Marlon, the top seed, #1 ranked player in the world, now has dropped 2 games here. And you have to give credit to Anton Schallberg of Sweden, because he's just refused to lie down. He's got himself back in business here in this match, and where credit is due for that. Oh, he looks nervous there, Marlon, and perhaps he thought after the double that he would have an easy ride here in this match in the singles, but it's been anything but, really.
It's always sort of a concentration, and although the coaches may be aware of the young players, I'm sure that Malone hasn't paid attention too much to Anton Schallberg, ranked where he is in the world, but Anton for sure is a player, and back again with sort of service points won. I mean,
well, he's a lot better there now, isn't he? He was as low as 32% in the last couple of games. He's back in business with that at 64.
And just forcing those unforced errors on the other side. So it's
8-4 as well. That's impressive. That's where we was really when we saw the first game summary. So it's Marlon who just has some tidying up to do now going into this next game. So, wow, what an encounter. It's a thoroughly enjoyable match so far. Men's singles, round of 2, day 4 here in Düsseldorf, and the action coming thick and fast. And Marlon here at the table for the 2nd time today as a singles player now. He's being forced to work here, and this man you have to tick a few boxes for that Anton Schallberg. Good stuff.
Oh, fantastic opening shot by Anton. He just adjusted and pulled it really, really deep into. That was a quality return from Anton Schallberg.
So the mandate, the blueprint is clear really here for KALLBERG. He has to force his way ahead and stay there. Such a difficult opponent to dislodge from his perch, Ma Long, once he has rhythm. Edge of the seat stuff here inside the Messe Arena here in this game. I can confirm also my fellow commentator Michael Anderson is sitting very much on the edge of his seat here, fully immersed in here watching his fellow Swede put up a good show here.
Lucky to get that one actually, because the placement on the first backhand was maybe right on the racket, so it's a little lucky, but needs some luck to be good.
Well, you make your own luck, don't you, in life? And he's making his own luck at the moment. You've got to do that, really. So, let's go at 2 points all. Ma Long again about to serve. Oh, brilliantly done. The forehand just beginning to work wonders now.
He is strong on his footwork again. Anton, you're moving well on the backhand side and really adjusting very quickly on that forehand winner. Coach looks a little nervous at least.
He does indeed, isn't he? He's on the edge of his seat as well, but for the wrong reason.
Oh, that was close actually. Tried that a few times and I guess got the result he wanted. Short forehand, and then Ma Long just lifts the ball up, but with too much spin, so just a little unlucky.
So important to bed yourself in very early in the game up against a higher ranked player.
There he is, just pounding his head. It was right into the racket. He had all the time in the world to play that to the middle, and just made a sort of a last-minute mistake and is upset with himself. So what an important placement of that forehand topspin. I would remember those 2 points, because I think that's he tried to sort of correct the mistake right off the bat by doing the right thing the next time, you know, playing in deep forehand with his backhand down the line. So just sort of the order of the mistakes, a little worrying.
Well, any mistake that we all know that Ma Long is going to jump all over. You just can't afford those kind of mistakes against a player of his quality. Forehand really is a thing of beauty. Just winds himself up, loads the legs. Ma Long gets his weight behind it. It's almost unstoppable if he hits the table. There it is, confirmation of that. 59 kilometers an hour, 3 points to the good. That was very crafty, very cunning there for Ma Long, that point. Just beginning to build up a head of steam now from 3-all. It's Ma Long who's reeled off 4 points in a row in his favour now.
Yeah, well done. Needs 2 in his own serves now. We got 1. Climb closer.
So 3 points again, the advantage here for
a timeout on the Chinese side. That was quite interesting.
That just shows you that he still has some duress, really, in the Chinese side, that they've called a timeout when he's 3 points up.
But also related to the serve, so I'm sure the coach maybe didn't like that. Or actually it's Anton serving anyway, but it's a good timeout, I guess. Calm down, get your things in order again. Just remembering those small mistakes by Anton. Not really a mistake, just a sort of a bad, little less good decision. And that's typically what they jump on right away. All the Chinese players, or especially a guy like Malong.
So the table's been wiped down there by Anton Kjellberg, and a chance for him to wipe the slate clean and start all over again, point by point. Try and make inroads into this deficit of 3 points here for Malong, but more importantly, here it is the Swede who still has the serve. Imperative, so important that he does take this next service point. Oh, he does indeed take it in some style as well. Great change up, great use of the table. Redirected it to the forehand side this time off the Chinese. Took it nice and early as well. Great racket control. Still has a service point, and again he needs to take it. Puff of the cheeks there, and a deep breath for Malong.
Just a little too late on that ball. Small timing error, I would say.
Well, he's got the centre victory well and truly under his nostrils right now, Malong. The lead is a healthy one, it's 4 points, and he's now 2 points from progressing into the next round.
Yeah, it's a typical example. Like that last backhand lift there is, of course, a little too easy for a guy like Malong, but the thought process behind is also quite good. You know, he was trying to find the middle and just didn't execute 100%.
So that was the match point there for Malong. He still has plenty. That's another miss. That's gone out there from Malong. Just looked a little tight there on that backhand, but he was forced back. Well, he's showing all his fighting qualities here, Anton Kjellberg of Sweden. It's Malong now on his serve that has a chance now to serve out and seal the deal here in this match. Well, would you believe it? Is the renaissance, is the comeback on here from Anton Kjellberg? Well, the look on the face of Malong just tells us the story, really. Off balance there, looking to go up the line on the forehand.
Done that a couple of times with such an excellence, Anton. You know, going all the way around and then pulling it down to Malong's deep forehand. That's not an easy shot, and not many players master that shot for sure.
drama looks set to continue here in Düsseldorf, just perhaps because, again, Ma Long is being forced to toil, he's being forced to sweat and labour and work hard here by a teenager from Sweden here. He's given him as good as he takes now. This is an incredible sequence of events here for Ma Long.
It's going to be very interesting now what kind of serve. Let me see.
Well, that's an incredible shot. Incredible. Well, Ma Long has a huge look of relief on his face, because today, in this men's singles round 2 match, the defending champion, the top seed here, the world ranked #1, was forced to work all the way right from the first game up until the last. So he's come for a very stiff examination of his table tennis prowess here, Ma Long, but in the end, he came through with light at the end of the tunnel.
And I would give Anton A, maybe a straight A minus, doesn't really matter, A plus. But an A grade performance actually here, because all the way through, although you see the figures was a little low, he was in the 3rd game especially, maybe had a weaker 2nd and 4th. But anyway, fantastic performance by the young Swede, and he cannot go home all happy, because if the Swedes lose, we don't do that. But anyway, should be very proud of his performance.
Oh, indeed, I couldn't concur with that anymore if I tried, because he really played to probably the best of his capabilities. He took the game to Ma Long, he made him work, and in the end, if Ma Long came out today expecting a simplistic 4. Oh, well played. Really got up and over the ball there with his racket, Ma Long. Just keeping his legs going, keeping his energy levels high and his shoulders nice and loose here as he looks to turn this match around.
Pounding the middle there, and he was sort of hesitated, but he did very well playing backhand from the middle too. But in the end, that one there, maybe he had a chance to go around actually. So
brilliant point again. Put Long a good distance away from the table there, pushed him back, forced him to stretch. Not once but twice.
very well done, fellow Swede.
Such a clean ball striker.
Yes.
He's just 19 years of age, Michael. I mean, by the time the next Olympics comes around, of course, 2020 in Tokyo, I mean, he'd have had a lot of matches under his belt by then, KALLBERG. I mean,
he's actually also a Swedish champion for the first time this year, not to be forgotten. There's a couple of other players that are higher ranked than him, so he won the Swedish national championships this year. So absolutely a player to be accounted with now, playing in his singles world championships.
of course, he still is only 19 years of age, and with that, with the young players, you do get some ups and downs, of course. The round of 16 at 2017 this year at the Qatar Open, and the European Under-21 Championships as well. It's Ma Long again. He's just nudged ahead by a couple of points now. He's had to dig deep, Ma Long, in this match. He hasn't been at his best so far. He's up against an inspired opponent, but doing a lot better now with 8 points so far in this game.
So much about gaining confidence in the backhand to backhand sort of challenge, and now Ma Long seems to have found a little bit better distance to control that. So I'll probably have to adjust and find a deep forehand again. Interesting to see Malong's service areas, short forehand, short middle, and almost all the time. Very few long services so far. Looks like he's sort of in control in this game.
Yeah, he's just changed where he's directing the traffic in this game so far. All business so far in game number 2 for Ma Long, 5 game points. So taking out the first attempt, the number 1 seed is up and underway here in this men's singles round 2 encounter. Brushed aside in the first game, back in business in the second. Ma Long squares it off now at 1 game apiece. So the Swede now was there in the early exchanges in the first game. We're going to see him at Halmstad next year. Just give us a slight nudge here of how things are going with regard to Halmstad 2018, Michael.
It's an interesting challenge. Of course, the World Championship is a huge sporting event, the biggest sporting event in Sweden almost that year. And I think we are from a table tennis region. There's a lot of quality table tennis history in that part of West Coast Sweden. Beautiful, as you know, West Coast of Sweden. So anybody wanting to visit us and support their teams, and they are very welcome, and we will take care of them, and also we'll take care of all the participants, of course. 72 teams allowed in the World Championships for the first time, sort of a soft reduction of the number of teams, which is necessary for us to be able to put the venue in order and make it very nice.
Well, Ma Long has definitely upped the ante with regard to his service points, and, well, it's been the opposite, really, for Anton KALLBERG of Sweden. Just 13% this time. Ma Long striking a couple of winners more. So still all to play for, but slowly but surely, Long has just bedded himself into this match. And you wonder if he'll be a lot more freer going into game number 3, now having squared it off at 1 each.
The trick is also for Anton all the time, you know, to sort of not throw all the best serves at once. You know, he served definitely not at the highest level in the second game, and that kind of showed off. He took the foot off the pedal a little bit in his service, but now, of course, he has to be aggressive again.
Well, that's the challenge here for Anton KALLBERG here, is to maintain the levels that he showed in that opening game throughout the end of this contest. It's easy for us to sit up here and say so. That's exactly what he has to do, really.
That's an excellent shot, actually. He took Malong's forehand and gave it a little bit extra kick back. Look at that one there. Perfect, actually, to the middle as well. Second one as well. So really, you know, knowing what he's doing and playing excellent backhands so far.
Just pressure there from Long. In the end, the pressure took its toll there. Such a big arena here, Michael. There's a lot of air conditioning here as well. Oh, they're really moving around the table there in that last rally as well. Big difference between the tables here than the tables in the other hall as well.
Absolutely, you're right. It's almost a different arena, and the space itself has so much bigger courts also out here, so you kind of need an adjustment, and this is kind of interesting to look at. Pretty evenly spread serves, and that shows you that they always work all the time to put different variations in your serve, and especially about placement.
Just a short break here. Ma Long 4 points to the good. It's a test of his mental strength out there as well, and the physicalities as well, having played doubles not so long ago for Ma Long. Perhaps that played a part in the opening game there for the Chinese as well.
it's a good serve. You don't see what wants to win.
He won't want to lose his crown here this afternoon, Marlon, no doubt about it. Well ranked #1, 28 years of age now, Marlon. He's become more consistent and stable as he's progressed. Uses his backhand to block incoming loops as well. The forehand continues to be a big weapon for Marlon. Are there any weaknesses in his game that the Swede can look to exploit here today?
Problem with Malong that he started off as a young player with so much power, and he played for many years sort of a game where he built only on power and speed. And I think starting from last year and now his dominance on the world level is very much about him also adding a few pieces to his game, so he can play touch game, he can play short, he plays much smarter, I would say, than he did as a sort of a young player, and that's been a difference in his game. Of course, it's made him much better. So he's such a complete player, and of course you have to find weaknesses. I'm sure the Swedish coaches also study, of course, to find a way to put the placement on the serves the best way, and then trying, of course, to be aggressive in the beginning here and show. And it's not. It has to do with the Chinese, and don't give them a couple of games, because then they just grow by dominance. This is in their mental state of mind that they want to dominate players. So you have to sort of build your own confidence and try to dominate back, if I try to explain it like that.
He certainly will need to get off to a good start. They're up against the highest ranked player in the world, just to build his confidence, start well, and he's got to stay ahead and build confidence from there. Get that first game on the board if he can here, KALLBERG, to build that confidence. What is your take on him moving from Sweden to Düsseldorf here in Germany?
It's a move that a lot of young players in Europe do have to do at some point in their career, and I think it was right. He moved around quite early, also inside Sweden for good practice, and now he's in Germany and has been there for, I think, 2 or 3 years, and plays regularly in the Bundesliga, plays Champions League matches and so on. So this is typically a professional career in table tennis for a young European.
So the scene is set, more action about to get up and underway here. Table 1 inside the Messe Arena in Düsseldorf, and the atmosphere is absolutely electric. This by far day 4, the heavily attended day so far. Wonderful spectacle. Some 8,000 spectators can squeeze into this fair trade ground. There's the Swede here, who will open up. Confident was that? Didn't look tight on that forehand, did he?
But build it also with a good serve, so obviously Malone didn't see the spin there, so this is also sort of an adjustment from his side. But let's see now how Anton can return Malone's serve.
Oh, brilliant. He took that so early again. And he's got such a good attacking style, has the Swedish player. Always looking to play close to the table. Attacks with spin and speed as well, and he needs to bring those traits here to the table against Marlon.
Starting confident with his backhand side, and there's Anton's really sort of improvement now lately with keeping his racket a little bit more up over the table and generating that sort of push spin in his backhand game. So confident start on the backhand side, which is absolutely critical for him, of course.
Oh, well played inside out this time on the forehand. That exaggerated service action just allows him to disguise that serve, doesn't it?
That's a unique technique that he sort of deploys in his service game. So a lot of people are sort of confused by that and does not get backhands down the line and then right into his backhand and so on. So he really was not up for the sort of pace of the game that Anton showed here. So and Anton is a close table player. That's important to understand. So he takes the ball off the bounce and both with forehand and backhand actually. And the trick for him is to try to control his return. So he did that very well too. So and served well. So all the plus factors so far for Sweden.
Well, he looked a very nervous looking coach. There it is. The First game summary, 7 winners to 1 and 63% points won on the service points. But just look at the left-hand side of that column. Now, we never would have believed that it would have been as untidy as that for Ma Long, would we?
No, as I said, I've never seen him been down in my life 9-2, and I've done a few World Championships. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he responds, but I'm sure there will be a pushback.
Well, he's in a spot of bother here, Ma Long. Completely brushed aside here by this young man, a teenager, showing us the effervescence of youth when confident and have devastating results. Well, he'll need to be more aggressive in this game, Ma Long, and he went about going about his business in positive fashion in that first point. Out the back. What a return winner that was.
I read the serve so well also, of course. That's a risk-taking going down the line too, but a winner of 70k, and that was not as the highest I've seen so far in this tournament.
That is the highest this week, without a doubt. It's been positive, it's been aggressive, and it's been high risk, but it's paying off so far for the Swedes. Exactly what he had to do in that first game. Kallberg, he got ahead, he stayed ahead. The speed of his rallies are so impressive.
I like how he moved out from the table. Anton, there was a good touch, short, but very quickly with his racket ready, and which is a underestimated move. How quick do you get out from the table in order to get in a good position? So he did that very well.
Well, he's trading blows here with Ma Long, and how often do you see that? Just refusing to yield here, Kallberg. Being overawed by the magnitude of the situation here at World Championship level. Out there on the centre table, centre stage here, and he's rising to the challenge.
Perfect placement. You know, a very difficult serve to control, actually perfect length. So he just no longer has to lift it slowly, and then he was around the corner again. So he's obviously taking some risks stepping around the corner, but so far so good. It's always right, and this is a typical example. It's an interesting start, no doubt about that.
Well, just the start he would have wanted to make here, Kallberg of Sweden.
Maybe touched the edge. It looked like it was out, but no, I think the screen is wrong.
Well played. Nice winner this time from the Chinese. And his devilish forehand coming into play. It's not where he wants to be, Kallberg. A good distance from the table.
Did fairly well, but in the end, of course, you cannot win points from so far behind the table against Ma Long. And I think they're correcting the score. Is that right? Yeah. 5-2 is the correct one.
There was an action in doubles earlier on today, Marlon with Timo Boll. He started here cold here at the table. Normally about this stage of the tournament, Michael, the top seeds get acclimatised to the conditions, the speed of the tables as well. There's a big open court here inside the Messe Arena as well, compared to other table tennis stadiums. So he's used to that now, but it's KALLBERG here as we expected, who is such a confident young man who started well. Just check the scoreboard out.
3-4, I mean, straight backhand winners. That's, you know, really, really good for Anton so far.
Right into the body this time. That's smart.
Make it 4 or 5. I almost lost track, but it displayed sort of a very, very aggressive backhand, quick off the bounce kind of technique here.
Oh, is he in the ascendancy or what? Well, 9 points to 2. Couldn't have wished to have made a better start in this opening game. Incredible start here by KALLBERG of Sweden. Finding himself in this situation, Michael, he just needs to refrain from looking at the scoreboard, doesn't he? I mean, he needs to pinch himself that he has a couple of points here to wrap up this first game. It's an incredible start.
You know, this 11 points games, this looks like a big score, but the stress comes just losing a couple of points, you know, because then you have to give away the service again and so on. So you really have to stay focused all the time.
When you're up against a Chinese player, you know that every single point you have to be focused, you have to be concentrated, because very seldom do they give you enough. But this is a different kind of situation here for Marlon, because very seldom does he trail by 2 or 3 points in a game. Way behind here.
I have actually never seen him been down 9-2 or something of that nature. So let's take this for what it is. It's an excellent start by Anton, and obviously Malone coming, as we said, right from the doubles, maybe having a lunch and so on. So let's see what happens. But it's an interesting start, well, to say the least.
Oh, exactly. Well, what a first game we've just witnessed here for Anton KALLBERG of Sweden. 11 points to 4. That is an incredible start. We knew that he'd be confident. We knew that he's a real bundle of energy. And boy, has he showed us that in that opening game. So nothing has to change really from his point of view. I mean, surely Marlon can't play as bad as that in the second game. Or am I tempting fate?
But those winners sort of took him off the rails, so to say, in the beginning, and there's really some shocking